For too long, we have engaged in this thoughtless and tasteless debate of HR partnering business. The fact that we say HR should partner business or others say HR should partner business, I take it very offensive. HR is business. When one contrived specialist who has serious self-worth problem, who is often using jargon to impress himself and trying to impress other person, and is speaking to the other person who is a business manager, the business manager always rejects this person. For him, he looks like a joker. And I know it's a strong word. He says that this guy is talking a language which I am unable to connect. So how do I trust this person to really deliver anything for me? So he humors you, and then shows the door. So how are you then going to be able to be the person who can bring products and services which are available outside? Because as a marketeer of this product and services, you lack credibility. Most CEOs do not crib on spending on good quality HR service. The problem is the imagination of the professionals inside the company to be able to sell that well to their CEOs and the business leaders, wherein I find the HR community doesn't have that imagination. In a very crude way, let me say, they don't have the political skills. Right? The finance professional or a supply chain professional or a marketing professional has enormous political skills, positive political skills. This is not scheming, conspiratorial political skills. It's an ability to really put your agenda in a compelling manner before your CEO and communicate to him concretely the value that the institution can derive by putting this budget on the table. What would a CEO look for? A CEO will normally look for productivity. What would a CEO look for? A CEO would look for how do I build certain skills in my people. Now, this is really where an HR community has to change its language of engagement. What happens with us is that when we engage a CEO, we speak the HR language. We end up talking about OD, we end up talking about engagement, scores, we end up talking about change management. All these, while they sound very nice and big, they don't connect with the CEO. Doctor has to talk cure. Then you go to a doctor. If the doctor talked about disease, will you go to a doctor? If a doctor talked about medicines, will you go to a doctor? If a doctor talked about big names about pathological terms, right? If you say SGOT, SGPT, BBBB, then suddenly as a patient your head will swim. You would rather like a doctor who has all this knowledge within himself, but when he engages you as a patient, he engages you for what you want. HR community has to learn to talk that to the CEO and to the business leader. If an HR community talks to the business leader that you want your productivity to go up, I have an idea. You tell me which business leader will not be interested in engaging that HR person. You think a business leader will say, no, I do not want it? He will say, how? The next question, you have started engaging the business leader by this kind of a thing. But if you went and told, I will do job evaluation for you, he is not interested. The language of HR has to become the language which is intelligible and comprehensible to a businessman. I have never found in my 30 years a single business leader who has said no to a business proposition. He has always said no to a HR proposition. Doctor sells cure, right? An HR person sells solutions.